Page 28. Is a cubic inch larger or smaller than a cubic centimeter? How do you know? It's larger because inches are larger than centimeters. 2. List objects with volumes you might measure in cubic inches. Perhaps a Kleenex box, a cereal box, a shoe box. Number 3. How many cubic inches do you think are in a cubic foot? 1,728. How many inches are in a foot? 12 inches in a foot. How many square inches are in a square foot? 144 square inches, and that would be 12 by 12 to get square inches. How did you find your answer? Well, I took a square foot, 144 inches, and I took it times the 12 inches that would be in a foot high, so the base times height, and that gave me 1,728. How many cubic inches are in a cubic foot? How many cubic inches are in a cubic foot? 1,728. How did I find my answer? Length times width times height. 12 times 12 times 12. Question number 4. List objects you might measure in cubic feet. So some things that would be larger than a Kleenex box or a cereal box, because otherwise my numbers would be very, very large. So perhaps the cargo space in a car, the amount of space in a dryer, things of that approximate size. Page 29. How many cubic feet are in a cubic yard? 27 cubic feet. How did you find your answer? 3 times 3 times 3. A cubic yard would be 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, 27 cubic feet. List objects you might measure in cubic yards. Volume of the classroom, the volume of a truck trailer, some things that would be quite a bit larger than a car or a dryer. Number 7. Dina's family has a freezer that is 2 yards in width, 1 yard in length, and 1 yard in height. What is the volume of the freezer? Well, 2 times 1 times 1, length times width times height, is 2. And how many cubic feet of food will fit in there? Well, there are 27 cubic feet in 1 cubic yard, so 27 times 2 is 54. Do you think cubic yards or cubic feet are better units to measure the volume of the freezer? Why? Well, I think perhaps feet would be better. It's easier to picture in my mind. If I think of food, I can think of something that is roughly 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, and imagine how many 54 would be. A little bit maybe more difficult or challenging to just think of 2 cubic yards. Page 30. Number 1. The cubes in each rectangular prism are the same size. Find the volume of each prism. So each of these individual cubes are unit cubes. And if I look at counting the unit cubes, I can go 8 across, 4 wide, and 5 tall. And if I multiply 8 times 4 times 5, I get 160. Number 2, I get 4 by 5 by 5, and 4 times 5 times 5 equals 100. For number 3, I get 8 across, 6 going this way, and 8 tall, and 8 times 6 times 8 is 384. And again, so looking at number 4, made a little mistake here, so I corrected my work. It says the stack of cubes represent a rectangular prism. Draw an outline of the rectangular base on the grid paper so that the volume of the prism would be 60. Well, to get a volume of 60, and I know I have a height of 5, so 5 times 12 is 60, so I have to have a base of 12, and originally I drew a base of 6 by 6, which would be too big because that would be 36 for the base, and 36 times 5 is much more than 60. I had to keep my base down to 12. 12 times 5 is 60. What is the area of the base? 12. By the way, could have also drawn a base that was 3 by 4. Page 31. Can A has a volume of 25 beans. Can B holds twice as many beans as can A. What is the volume of can B? Well, if it holds twice as many and one has 25, it's just 2 times 25 equals 50. Number 2. Find the area of a rectangle that is 1.5 feet by 2 feet. Well, 2 feet times 1.5. Again, this is multiplication or just adding 1.5 plus 1.5. And that gives me 3 square feet. Number 3, if 329 plus 671 equals 1,000, and it does, what is 2 times 329 plus 671? Well, if I get 1,000 by adding what's inside the parentheses, and I multiply it by 2, that gives me 2,000. Number 4, 3 feet to a yard, so 300 feet is 100 yards. Letter B, there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile, so to figure out 2 miles, I would double that. C, there are 36 inches in a yard, so 2 yards, I would double the inches. And D is probably the trickiest one. 12 inches is 1 foot, 24 inches is 2 feet, and I've got 6 more inches beyond 24 inches, and 6 out of 12 is a half, so that's 2 1/2 feet. For number 5, I'm going to do what's inside the parentheses first. 14 plus 2 is 16, divided by 8 is 2. 36 divided by 6 is 6. 42 divided by 7 is 6, and 6 plus 6 is 12. Number 3, or letter C, 50 plus 20 is 70, plus 30 more is 100, and 100 times 3 is 300. Number 6, Maria bought 5 tickets for $20 each. Each ticket had a $2 fee. Write an expression that shows how much Maria paid for the tickets. Okay, didn't put an answer there, so let's go ahead and make my equal sign. So 5 tickets for $20, that would be $100. But each ticket had a $2 fee, not just a $2 fee for the overall order every time she bought a ticket. So I have to add the 20 and the 2 first, multiply that times 5, and I get an answer of $110.